Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Let me put Greg Grebo is in the background already. Let me put her live. Let's say hello, Pizza's Little Brewing Collection, Savitch Ray, Terry K, Lynn Smith, Danny Jacobs, Tex, Jenna T, Impossible Razumi, Blistoff, Out of the Attic, Janelle, Charlotte, Sunkissed, Meanie, Minty, Foxy Lady, Tweets, Tex, Darlene, a lot of stuff for you. Hello there, Common Sense. What's up? Thank you all for being here. Let me put you live right now, Greg Rebo. Welcome.
Hello. There.
How's it going? Are you okay?
Yeah,
You're
yeah. I'm
great.
just trying to get it. These new headphones are kind of they're weird,
Ooh,
but I like them.
new
Yeah,
and swanky.
they're the Bose the 700 series noise
Oh,
canceling ones. Yeah,
nice.
like they were on sale for a. I was like, oh yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been
Gemini
waiting for
Z
these.
girl. Nice. What's up, Gemini Z girl? This is a dog, Ursanada, Erica Lynn, Omi Omi. Beaker, Bunny Melon B, Foxy Lady WO8, Pagan Ways. Who else do we have here? Ruby Power Jewels. What's up, Disco Cat? Hello, Luna Suerte. You're behind the scene. Let me add you right now. Hey, Luna.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey,
What's up?
Luna.
Oh, yay. Hi, Grable. Hi, Monty. Hi, everybody in the chat. How are we feeling tonight, friends?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, just chilling, eating a banana, minding my business, as I always do. So, it's a good night for me.
Chantal is a good daily reminder. Like there are days where I'm like, I don't feel like doing the laundry. And then I'll watch. I'll be like, yeah, I'll get some laundry done. Or I don't feel like
Boxes,
showering.
stark
Yeah,
reminder. Oh, I need to
yeah,
take care of my house. I feel you on that. I'm like,
yeah,
no, wait, I don't want a box badly. I can't afford
yeah.
that. So much landscaping for me to take care of. So,
Hey, No
but
Justice. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Thanks for smashing the like button. So, what do you think about this whole thing, Luna? What are your thoughts?
oh, I have many. Um, well, in terms of, I guess, if you want to well, we can start, I guess, with like the Beezer Show getting monetized.
Yeah.
My first thought on that really is, I just really don't think it's gonna last long. Not necessarily because Chantal and her antics always ends up biting her in the ass somehow because she loves to self sabotage. But I also think that due to all of the paperwork behind her registration for the show in itself, then that's what she's using as her ruse to get around YouTube's terms of service. I think that nobody, like you mentioned this like in your last stream, Monty, nobody with human eyes has really analyzed everything that she sent in so far. I think that it all is just going down being scanned and like with algorithms and with general like computer programming looking for certain keywords and phrases, and that's how she was able to get monetized with the paperwork that she currently has, because like you've mentioned more than once, it's still in its registration phase. And as someone that has also looked into opening up their own business as well because of like some side hustles that I had, I noticed too that like something that both of us have been saying, with sole proprietorships you really can't get so far in terms of recognizing your business as its own entity. And I feel that's something that she did not look into at all. She just said, well, what's the easiest option for me? And how can I attach my image to it, but not necessarily my name? But fails to realize that all the paperwork is still in her name, including the payment method, because I know Pete's did not pay for that registration. So, with all of that being said, especially now that YouTube is going to be looking into it a little bit more closely, I think that she could actually get in a lot of trouble for a lot of like fraudulent information that she's providing to monetize this channel, let alone run it. And everything that she's doing is really just building against her. I know a lot of people are really disappointed about the fact that she got monetized again because people want her to face consequence for her actions. And I totally hear that. But at the same time, the more she evades consequence and accountability, the more reckless she becomes. And currently, she is surmounting so many issues at this moment that she doesn't even realize because she doesn't really have much foresight. So it'll be very interesting to see how everything will eventually catch up to her and play out. And also, I think that it's just something that will take its time and take its course to really, I guess, play out in the end. I don't know what y'all think about that.
You said it perfectly. Like it just that was exactly. It's like YouTube is a massive company with they've got lawyers, but you know, anybody that knows anything about business and large companies and stuff, they move at a really geological type rate, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not happening. So let Chantel smirk, you know, it's like she was sitting there on stream tonight greening out. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so
Hmm.
she can say what she wants. And it seems, you know, in my experience, that YouTube gives their creators the benefit of the doubt on the front end. They ask you a question, and instead of, you know, you having to, they ask you questions and they expect you to be honest. And I don't think her lies and I are going to serve her well. And I think it will come back and bite her in the butt. So yeah, exactly what you said, Luna. Exactly, like well put.
And it's also like it's going to be more of a consequence than she had originally bargained for too, because now she's also dragging her country's resources into it as well with the business registration.
Mhm.
So when that goes, you know, hand in hand with YouTube, which is a large corporation, as you just mentioned, Grivo, and basically a whole investigation opens up, she could face possible charges for that as well. And I
Yeah.
don't think that's something that she really thought about either, because essentially what she is doing is committing fraud. Because, you know, especially in the States, you know,
Mhm.
it's really not uncommon for people to open businesses or, you know, at least like have the name of it just so they can either evade taxes. You know,
Mhm.
large corporations do it all the time. A great example I could think of is how recently Johnson and Johnson opened up their own like smaller corporation. It's like Johnson something like that. I don't exactly,
Mhm.
but it was because they were facing a lot of backlash for their vaccine. So they created a separate entity to deal with all of the legal repercussions for their products. That also includes for like when they had issues with talc and the baby powder years ago. So
Yeah.
because they had so many continuous issues with the legal sector in particular, that's why now they have suddenly decided to create this entirely new entity solely for it to take any heat that they may face for their product.
Mhm.
So it's not uncommon, especially in the
Mhm.
States. Yeah, exactly, to protect their assets. Thank you, common sense. So it's not an uncommon thing, and I feel like that's kind of something that she was looking to do. However, she does not have the team of lawyers, nor the resources, nor the money necessary for her to be able to accomplish that. And she's getting all her legal advice from like plain cheeseburgers. So how is she going to really have any form of a solid idea as to how to go about operating a business, let alone a corporation? And that's not what she has at all. So, you know, she just kind of is digging her own grave at this point, and it's kind of jarring to see just how far she's willing to go, but at the same time, it's not really surprising either. You know, I don't even see her writing off anything like with this trip that she wants to do for Cuba, like as a business expense or anything like that either. And if she does, she's not going to do it correctly. She doesn't even speak to her accountant frequently in regards to her own expenses for YouTube, and she hasn't even paid her taxes in years. So I don't see how now, with all of these sudden write-offs, she's going to expect to really get much of anything when she still has so much that she owes. So I just don't think this is going to get very far. I really don't. Even if she has, you know, a few moments of glory here and there in the meantime, in the long term, I'd say within the next few months to a year, it's just not going to pan out very well.
I agree completely. I was asking Monty in chat, like, so apparently the Canadian Revenue Authority, they're not real harsh with individuals, and I was asking Monty if he knew, are they any harsher with businesses? Like, do we, is there any Canadian business owners in here that would know that? So apparently they don't go for the jugular the way the IRS does in the United States. But I'm curious for businesses, since she does have a business license, if there's a, is there more of a chance that the CRA might come down on her hard? And like you said, now that she has a business license and stuff, she didn't get any legal advice or anything. So she just, yeah, she's listening to her chat. She's listening to the people who gassed her up and got her to go potentially false report somebody. You get the people that gas her up and say, "Ooh, it's 2 in the morning. Order more food, Chantal." Like, why she listens to these people is,
Yeah.
it's painful. But yeah, that smug smile on her face. I'm seeing a lot of people getting really angry about it, and I'm like, this is just entertainment, guys. This is not going to last. Enjoy it while you can. She's literally, like you said, she's not just digging her own hole, she's digging her own grave because, like, yeah, there's the fraud, there's all kinds of stuff, and it really depends on, let's say YouTube decides they need to make an example of somebody. Do you really want to be that guy that YouTube makes an example of? Good Lord, they own half the
Exactly.
world. Yeah.
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 And that's the thing. Not only is she going to be someone that YouTube makes an example of, but also, if anything, I feel like YouTube is now going to have even stricter regulations for monetization after reviewing a case like this.
Yeah.
It already happened with Keemstar. It's going to happen again with Chantal,
Right.
even if it's under slightly different pretenses, because I know that he had a lot of people on his legal team and a lot of paperwork that he had to sign in order for him to
Hmm.
successfully do that. Chantal has Pete's, plain cheeseburger, and her high
Don't
thoughts,
forget
and that's about
Sofa
it.
King. Don't forget Sofa King.
Oh, the worst one
Yeah.
of them all. He's like her court jester. Like, I
Yeah.
don't
Like,
understand his
it's like
presence.
dance, monkey dance.
Exactly. Like, he's
He's
the
just a
worst.
huge misogynist too. You can just tell
Yeah,
by the things he says that he's that guy that sits around on his sweaty, dirty couch in his sweaty, dirty, tidy whities that aren't so tidy or whitey, and just hard pass for me. But
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of Sofa King, especially when he would come in this chat and harass
Hmm.
femmes. Like,
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, all right, we're done here. Like, now you're not
Hmm.
trolling. Now you're just being gross. And
Yeah.
we're not dealing with that right here, right now. Like, I remember one
Yeah.
time, like, when I was there, and like, there have been multiple times where I remember, like, one person in the chat just felt so uncomfortable by him because he would like message her and like constantly add her in the
Oh.
chat. And, seeing that, and then seeing how Chantal seemingly doesn't have much thought aside from, I would say, entertainment from the people that frequent her chat. It just goes to show that like she's just willing to have anyone around that's willing to tolerate her, not even listen to her, tolerate her. She really does have super low standards when it comes out to the company that she keeps, which is obviously reflected in the way that she carries herself and cares for
Hmm.
herself. And it's very jarring to see how much she's willing to tolerate just for the sake of saying that she has company. I mean, look at the entirety of her relationship with Nader. That's a prime example right there. But
Hmm.
I would say that the most long-standing example would definitely be the relationship that she has with her subscribers and the people that are actually supportive of her. But it's kind of like when I was going into the
Did
last
you,
time.
Luna, did you
Yes.
hear the comment she made about Pete's? Did you guys, did you see so there was a private 13-minute video.
Oh.
She posted the link on her Patreon, but it was a private video that she did on the Beezer Show. So she's using YouTube now because she made a comment about Crowdcast, the one that she pays
Mm.
$195
Mm.
for 40 hours. She's out of
Right.
time on that. So what she did, rather than spend more money on Crowdcast, because she made a comment like this is getting expensive, is she did a stream, but she did it through a private link that she posted on her Patreon. It was about 13 minutes long and it cut out. And then the next video she did was the one that was entitled Technical Difficulties that
Oh.
was public on YouTube. And what she said in that, somebody said something about, well, is Pete's going with you to Cuba? Because she's talking about this Cuba bees. And she said she made a comment like about, basically, I'm going to paraphrase, that there's trouble in paradise with Pete's and the company. The Beezer Show and Pete's basically not on good terms in the office. Things aren't going well. And, she threw it out there
Oh.
kind of
Yes.
flippantly, but it really sounded like the way what that, you know, all is not as it seems, that Pete's is an unhappy camper and he's wanting nothing to do with this. And then she laughed and said she had to use the bathroom, and then, she did her thing,
Yeah,
came back, and then
deflected.
yeah,
Hmm.
and then the stream ended at like 12 minutes and 57 seconds, and then she uploaded this technical difficulty videos for everybody. But so for some reason she couldn't get the stream to work, or maybe she realized she went over the 10-minute mark. Like, it was almost like, is she trying to keep these videos short, these private links? I don't know. But anyway, that's the hot tea, is that, I think her and Pete's are having problems,
Oh yeah.
and yeah. So that was a
I,
very long-winded way of saying, yeah, I think there's problems with her and Pete's. Sorry.
yeah,
Mhm.
we tried to watch that, but by the time I had the unlisted link and for us to view it, she deleted it.
Oh, I
So
I
very
I
unfortunate.
I I might still have it, Monty. If I do, I'll send it to you, okay?
Sure, I've been checking the farms. The farms don't have it. Very
Yeah,
unfortunate that I couldn't watch it before she
yeah,
got it.
hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna go check right now so I don't lose if it's the link still up. Hold on.
Sure. Hey, just Julie. Hey there, everybody. Smash that like button if you want to join the show. Then the link is posted by me right now. You got to do is follow the instructions that Stream already gives you, and you can be on the show to air your thoughts or
Yeah, join the
air your
party.
ire, so to speak. Amiyami says, I hope Pete does move on. A lot of people are rooting for him to leave what would be a very negative situation.
Right.
It is for him overall. It's extremely negative, and I think he needs to get out of there before it gets much worse.
Yeah, I agree. I think that more tension brewed at this point now, especially because Pete was open about the fact that they're having issues with their gender identity. I know that's something that's like still up for debate in terms of legitimacy for a lot of people because Pete has a very questionable past. However, I guess, also being a trans person, I'm non binary, just to be very clear on that. Um, I don't know. I just don't think that it's something that we can say is really legitimate or not because Pete's also said in the video that it was something that they've been struggling with for years on end. So,
Mhm.
aside from like the brief tidbits that we get from their own YouTube channel where they're kind of like talking about like their own interests or whatever, and then some stuff on their Twitter, and then some of the moments that they spend with Chantal that Chantal puts on her channel. I just, in terms of like knowing like their childhood and then their adolescence and then even like their young adulthood, I just don't think that any of us anything to really say whether or not Pete's questioning their gender identity is very legitimate, or if it's something that they're using as escapism or to deflect from other issues that they have going on. And that's not to say that they are or they aren't. It's just I just don't know. I really don't know. So just to like avoid um, unnecessarily judging somebody for their own experience, I'm just going to leave it at that for the most part. There are still a lot of people that are very controversial that have opened up as being trans, like Christian Yaniv is another one too. And these are people that I have a lot of disagreements with, as does the rest of the internet. But in terms of really um, understanding just how exactly gender dysphoria plays into their own inner conflict and controversies overall. It's just something that I feel like a lot of us don't really have a clear answer to. It's a very complicated topic, an extremely complicated topic. It's very easy to say, well, this is a horrible person, or this person did something that was, indescribably awful. And I agree with that on many, many levels. But in terms of like really knowing the actual facets and train of thoughts behind their idea to transition, I don't know. That's just something that I don't think any of us could really speak on because we really just don't know enough. And it's something that, even if they find it to be a viable solution to their issues, the bigger question also is why as well, because for any person that's secure in their own gender, they won't feel as if they have to transition or that they have to really change. But for others, if they find it to be something that seems a bit plausible in terms of improving their connection to self or improving their life, then why not explore that? But, it's something that not everybody's going to consider as an option. Um, I don't know. It's just very complicated to be trans, to keep it very real. And, especially now that we have so much information on the internet regarding just exactly who you can be and how you can live up to being the most ideal version of yourself. This goes all across the board, not just for being trans or if expressing yourself in any way. Um, there's so many ways in which people are telling you how to live, and there's so much conflicting information surrounding that. And, ultimately, I do think that it really is up to the individual to stray away from answers that don't directly come from themselves in terms of what's best for them. And also doing what they feel is best for their own growth, because that's not going to reflect evenly across the board. There's so many images of confidence and images of security that we see, and when you feel insecure, it's just really easy to eat that up and think that's who you're supposed to be. um, this is also can be said for me within my own journey as well. But once you are able to kind of like tune out the music and just kind of focus on your own inner voice, it makes it a little easier to find what really resonates with you. But like a lot of people are saying, I will agree with the fact that Pete's like, step one for them is really to, have as little contact with Chantal as possible, and, make their own strides and way out of that house, and finding some way to support themselves and finding different ways to live their life. And if transitioning is a solidified part of that, then that is something they can explore in their own time. But in the meantime, simpler steps can most definitely be made. And I think it is something that we are already seeing, as Reba was saying before, how there's already conflict about in the household. And one of the reasons why I think that conflict is present is because, Chantal has been entertaining transphobia on her channel for quite some time now. And, we already had many instances before where not only we saw it with our own eyes, but we even heard from Nader that Chantal does not respect Pete's. So I feel like all of this now is kind of ruminating in Pete's head. And now that they're open about the fact that they're questioning their identity, this is kind of all forming resentment, essentially. And it's basically like starting to slowly but surely show itself because it's been building for such a long time. But now they have more of a reason to feel even more distant than ever from Chantal, on top of Chantal trying to use Pete's strictly for business at the end, even though they have been acquainted for over 20 plus years. Um, it's kind of messed up for Chantal to just reduce Pete's to, a house elf and now a name for business licensure. Um, but now it's just like also completely disregarding their identity too. And that's something that, cuts very deep. So I'm sure that we're going to be hearing more discrepancies between quote unquote Beezer Productions and Pete's, because there's so much more that is also being unraveled on Pete's side of the story too.
Yeah, very true. I can agree with what you're saying. Um, what else can we say? Is she going to Cuba? I don't think so. I think it might be
Oh no.
another Beezer Show type of thing.
That video, it's like I said, it's not just it's gone, like it's deleted, gone. So I'll recap it. So basically she came on and she was all excited, and she had bought like this big floppy hat, and then she was like, my aunt helped me look for places, and we were looking for cheap places, and that's how she finally decided on Cuba. It was basically one of the really cheap ones. And then Chantal was, this is that 13-minute video that is now gone, her private Patreon stream that she uploaded to the Beezer Show. And then she was talking like, "Ooh, do you think I could find a cabana boy? Do you think they have cabana boys that would bring me drinks?" And it was creepy because she must have said the term cabana boy about 5 or 6 times. Like it was creepy hearing a middle-aged woman talk about, "Ooh, cabana boy," and just the ah, it didn't strike me as somebody looking for a hot man. It really did strike me as like a cougar, like "Ralph," going after some young guy. And then she was talking about, oh, and she picked up this big old thing of sunscreen, SPF, whatever. And then her chat let her know anything over SPF 50 is a ripoff. Oh, that's what my aunt said too. And apparently her aunt is the one that is helping her book this. Her aunt, apparently, like she's getting ready to arrange a car to take her to the airport. She's you heard on the other stream where she's talking about whether she needs 1 or 2 seats. I cannot remember. It seems like it was called. I know she's going to that Coca Key in Cuba, but there was a specific name of the website that she was using for the hotel. I have to think about it. I'm not going to think too hard or I'll forget. And then she was just showing off the hats, and then somebody said something like, "Well, is Pete's going with you?" And she goes, "Oh, Pete's will go on company trips. Pete's will go on company trips, but he hates airplanes." And then the chat was like, "Oh, so he's not going with you?" She's like, "No, no, he's not going with me." Um, and then they made some comment about Pete's in the company, and she basically looked right at the camera. She was like, "I have to pee," got up and looked at the camera, and basically, I'm paraphrasing, she was like, "Trust and believe there's problems with Pete's in this company," and then went off camera and then came back, and they just kept asking her questions about Pete's, about the cats and this and stuff, and all of a sudden the stream just ended, and then she came back on and said technical difficulties. I don't think it was technical difficulties. I don't think she was comfortable with the line of questioning that was happening. And
I
so,
see.
yeah.
Well,
So, but I think she felt like maybe she had let the cat out of the bag too much, because the way she said there was problems with Pete's, it seemed sincere. It really did seem sincere, and she
yeah.
wasn't completely greened out at that point. So maybe she just blipped it and yeeted it because she doesn't
Yeah.
want, because I caught it right as it went up, and I streamed it in the server I stream in, and I thought, oh, I need to record that. So I left the link up, and yeah, it got pulled down.
Was it TripAdvisor she was using to book these hotels?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was TripAdvisor. And I want to say she said the name of the hotel. I'm not 100% on that, like I said, because
Melia Kayokoko, Pullman
see,
Kayokoko,
God, it's
Hotel
so hard.
Trip Kayokoko, Hotel Colonial
There, no,
Kayokoko.
there was a trip in the name, I think.
Okay, so
I,
then it's Hotel Trip, TRYP Kayokoko, 4.0 out
okay.
of 5 stars.
Okay, and she said there's some kind of promotional video she was watching for it. Do they have
Okay.
some kind of promotion? So I
Yes, they
specific.
do.
Yep, yep. That's the one she's gonna be staying at, because she said she was watching. Well, I'm pretty sure that's when she's gonna stay, because she was watching the promotional videos, and her aunt was basically giving her, you can go to the Dominican Republic, you can go here, you can go there, but her aunt supposedly is really helping her. And Chantal did say, my aunt is very organized. And so, um, I don't think Chantal understands, though, that, not too long ago, Cuba was a completely um, isolated country. It is not set up for somebody her size. Like, well, but I guess on the flip side, Chantal, I don't know. I'll be surprised if she gets up and actually goes. I don't think she's going to like it at all, being stuffed in that plane. And B, knowing Chantal, she won't ever leave the hotel. So it's not like she's going to ever walk anywhere. But yeah, yeah, she was talking about it, and she said it was very nice. So this is the one, because I remember it had trip in the name. And
Yeah.
Chantal was saying in that video she was calling herself Jay, but Jai. Jay, she came on as a personality. She was just Chantal calling herself another name. But she came on and she said, "Oh, my name's it's spelled Jay, but it's pronounced Jai, as in BB Jai." and I just thought it was really weird that she picked that. And now you
I
said it's
came out
Trip.
with that.
Oh, well, that's what she's calling herself.
Right? Remember?
Yeah.
I thought
That's, yeah.
Bunny and Kay. I thought it was Bunny and Kai, but originally I said Jai
Yep, I
days
do
ago.
remember that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I
well,
was
she's going by Jai now. She said it's spelled Jay like J, but it's pronounced Jai, and she would you know what I mean? And so whenever she catches herself, she remembers she's this personality, but she starts chatting away. But yes, so she's going she basically copies everything you say, Monty. So
pretty much. It's like,
yeah.
well, what the hell, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, somebody tell me if I'm wrong, but she was saying it with I remember distinctly hearing that the promotional video for the hotel, and I remember it had a trip. That's why when you said TripAdvisor, I'm like, yeah, is that it? But no, the hotel had a trip in the name. So this is oh, that's a Sansevieria. That's an African plant. What's it doing in Cuba? Yeah,
We have those
yeah.
in Jamaica as well.
Okay.
And we're only like what, like 90
Yeah,
kilometers
yeah,
away from each other. Yeah, there's a lot of things here that we have in Jamaica
yeah.
that's here. But yeah, this is pretty much the place right here.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was watching the promotional video, and so she must have realized maybe she realized she'd given away the name of the hotel she was staying at, because like I said, I was shocked at the amount of information, and I have to admit I was only half listening because it's just been she just said she's just there's so much. You know how you just kind of stop listening after a while, like, oh,
Hmm.
kill me. But I'm glad I put it on and listened because so yeah, that's where she's gonna be staying, I guess. Yeah, I agree, Michelle. Her aunt is a strange cookie.
Indeed. Yeah. So what else is there? So we talked about the trip.
Hmm.
Now we got a new character in the office, Jai.
Named by
uh
Monty.
yes, yes. But we won't say anything, you know. I
Yeah,
put out some things out there in the universe like Natty Daddy Daddy Natty Natterall gonna tell all that they picked up. Hey
exactly.
Squiggly.
I'm curious if Chantal ran any of this by Pete's. Like, is did he want
Oh,
to watch her
absolutely
cats?
not.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely not.
like
You
I,
know
I
her.
said, I originally thought she had deleted this video because of the comment about Pete's, and then I'm on the fence, like, or is it a combination of that comment about Pete's was way too sincere, and she let us know what hotel she's staying at, But yeah, he can't be happy, Luna. He just can't, having that dumped
No.
on him.
This is because I remember that she posted that she was initially going at like 6 in the morning or something like that. So she probably
Yeah.
booked it at like 4 in the morning. She woke up
Mm-hmm.
Pete, yelled pee at 4 in the morning, looked at him with rat face and said, I'm going to Cuba for my birthday. And then that was not no act.
Pee!
Yeah,
Pee!
yeah, exactly.
Pee! Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly how
He
it went
just,
down. Not
yeah.
even like, "Are you okay with that? Do you wanna?" 'Cause she probably asked, "Do you wanna come?"
Yeah.
No.
Well, she made it a point of saying that Pete's is not okay with flying. He's not okay with flying. So,
Right.
but this, like I said, I had the distinct feeling that it was a recent discussion. So, yeah.
It could be, but also at the same time, it's just generally very inconsiderate either way because,
Oh yeah.
a lot of people get on Pete's ass because they're like, "Oh, well, he lives here rent-free and doesn't pay for food."
Hmm.
And, like, if the least that he could do is, like, help her out with this or watch cats or something like that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I get that." But also at the same time, Chantal also wouldn't even be living there if it wasn't for Pete. It's his name
Exactly.
that's on the lease.
Yep.
He had a
And he
job and he
doesn't.
was more than capable of supporting himself
Yeah.
before.
Yep. He's basically, and he did this to himself. It was a self-sabotage, but
Yeah,
I'm sure in his head he desperately wanted to live with Chantal, and he just doesn't have the foresight to he just doesn't see the kind of influence she has on him, and I feel that she's just dragging him down. She's like a boat anchor, man. You know, be like
Yeah,
master commander, cut that line, let the sea anchor
yeah.
go, because she is dragging him down. And I'm not a fan of Pete's. Don't
Oh
care
no,
for the
not
guy at all. But
no.
um, the thing I worry about is like, is he just? I mean, I'm sure he'll feed the cats and stuff, but just you saw the like the stream, was it 2 nights ago, where she was trying to get Pete's to go feed the cats. She came home, got
Oh
on
yeah.
live stream, and remember Sam, and they kept getting up and they were scratching and meowing. It's because, and she made the comment like, "Oh, I just fed them before I left." I'm like, "Bish, you left for Montreal at what time this morning? And it's 11 o'clock at night. These cats are hungry." And Pete's wouldn't go feed them. And then she was giggling and laughing, but I think there's some serious animosity there. And like, Pete's can, excuse my language, just fuck off and die, and so can Chantal. But those cats, I'm sorry, Monty, but those cats, I feel so bad for those cats. Those cats are unwilling participants in this train wreck. They deserve love, and they deserve compassion, and they deserve to be taken care of. And it's really frustrating watching two grown adults not take care of these cats. It's, ugh. Sorry, guys. I dropped the F bomb, but
No, I
geez.
agree wholeheartedly. And that's the thing too. I know
Yeah.
cats do require a lot of work and love, but it's a cat at the end of the day. They're like
Yeah.
they don't even have
Yeah.
like extreme list of
Yeah.
demands.
Just
So it's
feed the cat.
ridiculous.
That's all you do. Just feed the cat. And
Exactly.
so, uh,
Give them
yeah.
something to scratch, some treats now and then, good food. They'll be fine.
And then did you see how tonight Chantal, speaking of Luna, because you said this will bite her in the butt. I feel bad I dropped the F bomb on live. Sorry, Monty. You saw when she was streaming tonight. She is already getting really comfortable on the Beezer show. Do you see how she was sitting there like, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
so, and I mean, she wasn't just spacing out, she was hardcore. She wasn't even greening out. She was almost nodding out.
Yeah,
You
she's
know
done.
what I mean? Like, yeah, she wasn't quite doing the, but she was getting close. And so if she is already that comfortable using copious amounts of drugs and streaming on this tenuous monetized channel, oh yeah, it's it'll be a miracle, I think, if she makes it another year. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I know I keep saying that, but ooh,
Really, really,
self-feeder for cats would be a good idea.
no, a self
Yeah,
feeder would be very helpful.
yeah, but then it'll get dirty. You gotta change
And
the
then we'll clean it.
batteries. You gotta set the timer. That's just way too much work for her.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Glasgow Gangster, what's up? So we got that. We got Natty Daddy was streaming some sort of like cooking at like 12 o'clock tonight. I was like, why? But then again, he's still on crackhead time, so
Did he get any views? Like, because the last time
uh
I checked in, there were like 132 people. I mean,
yeah, like 150.
yeah, he's heading to obscurity. Like, he's got some of those, desperados in his
It's still
chat.
going live. He's at
No.
93
Real
people right
life.
now. Yeah, it's still
Oh
live.
my God. Let
Oh
me
no,
check. This dude just doesn't, he cannot read a room.
no. Peter, bro.
Let's see.
Grim,
95 people.
yeah,
Yep.
the tracksuit is actually coming. It was supposed to have been delivered yesterday, Tuesday for me, but the mail person misdelivered. They delivered someone in the neighborhood their stuff to me and my stuff to them, so I gotta get it sorted today. Yeah, so we're
Okay.
gonna have to figure that out because I was waiting for the tracksuit. I was like, I gotta do a Tommy Hilfiger tracksuit intro where I'm like, ya bum, like, ya bum. So I will be getting on that as soon as possible. Dr. Harry Balls was like, Monty should go with her as an escort. Monty can lay the pipe in Cuba. The only pipe I'm laying in Cuba is for charity, okay? That's the only pipe.
there's there's not enough money in this world, man. I'm telling you. Just
No,
ew.
absolutely not.
Um so like I said, I mean, I am incredibly dubious, but like I said, because earlier today, I emphatically stated that it was going to be a green screen moment. Now that I've had this 12, 13-minute video that she's since deleted, and I know what hotel she's staying at, and the fact she said their aunt is really good at making lists, really good at planning, and basically it sounds like her aunt is not only planning this for her and all this stuff, but she's pushing her to do it. And it's almost like her aunt is trying to, I think her aunt's odd. But like, because that's always a good idea when you have lots of problems, run away. But here's what I'm hoping. Okay, so I know that the Wi-Fi and the streaming and stuff might be sketchy down there, but I am praying to sweet 8-pound, 5-ounce baby Jesus that she is streaming, because she will not be able to get the amount of drugs that she's used to keeping in her system there. And we saw the last time she did not get her fix, right? Remember, she completely lost her crackers on that stream. The rage, I'll show you. Well, she's going to be down there with none of the, something she likes. And so I'm just praying that there's good enough Wi-Fi that we get a good old-fashioned Chantal rage, and there will be no McDonald's. And so she'll be probably ordering room service at like $50 a plate,
Hmm.
and we'll get a good rage, an $800 room service bill, and like a crappy video out of it. I don't know. Call me terrible, but this was,
Or she
yep.
might think she's above the law in Cuba and try and
Mm.
seek out some
See,
substances.
that's my question, Monty. Like, does anybody like? I know she's can be stupid, but is she that stupid? Like Jamaica, I am totally oblivious to THC laws. Like at Jamaica, like you can smoke in Jamaica, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so I'm wondering, is she going to take like her aunt's advice? Well, oh, it's no big deal. Just stick it in your suitcase and say, or do you think like I don't know her family. Like, do they have any? Do they understand the gravity of this situation that you're going to a communist country that completely different laws and everything? And if they say no marijuana, they're probably not dicking around, and they would probably love to make an example of somebody. So I'm just curious, like, who thinks she would, like, maybe to a poll, who thinks she's actually dumb enough to try to sneak some THC in, like whether it be lotion, or do you think she'll try to get like some of those gummies and stick them like in a Haribo bag, or
Maybe she will. That's actually a very it's very probable. Or she'll
yeah,
just get it in Cuba, like, look around, ask a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
see
And
I would
see her
then
love
coming a
to
mile
try
away.
to do that.
yeah, exactly.
I would like to hear her
Uh
try to talk to people in Cuba. Would love to see that.
Luna, your audio is kind of messing up there a bit.
It's
I'm not sure if
trash. I know. What should I do? I don't know how to troubleshoot.
maybe
Breathe,
exit
get
and then come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll try
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem. We'll be here. We're just talking. If you want to join the panel, then by all means, I did set this up for my members. I did say that we'll have panels together where we can all talk about anything and everything. So if you want to join the panel, I have the link in the chat right now. We have 277 people watching this. If you want to join, go ahead. By all means, we can talk about it. But
you
yeah,
see what Poppy Chulo, Chantel caught with drugs. I just want a bees. Just want a bees. I just want a bees. I just want a bee. Bee. I don't think they'd be able to handcuff her hands behind her either. We've proven that that's not a thing.
it'll be
They don't.
thumb cuffs, but on the pinky. Yeah, but it's
Right?
like it's pinky cuffs instead. All right, Luna, you're back.
Okay. Does this sound better?
Yes, a lot
Yes.
better.
Okay. Fantastic. But no, I don't know if she'll even be able to get anything out there in Cuba. Um, like if she were to try to smuggle drugs, I don't think she'd be hurt by it. For one, it would so easily. And not only that, but I just don't think she's safe. Like personally, I just don't think that she is. I think that she'll fail somehow, some way. And then
I have a question. Who? Okay, here's a question. If you were told you needed to search Chantal and all her places for illegal drugs, A, would you quit your job and walk out of the airport, or B, would you do it? Like seriously, like if they're like this woman, like you know what I mean? The amount, the kind of strip searches they do in airports are not pleasing or pleasant. You know what I mean? And so I can see her trying to. Can you see her like trying to? I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I could see that. A lot of people would walk out.
Poppy Chulo's like quit, and Grim
Yeah,
241's like cavity search.
right, exactly. So we'll see how this show goes. Maybe she'll do another Montreal trip soon. The last one before 2 days ago was, when was that? Like a week and a half before that, I think, if I'm not
The
mistaken.
the what was that?
The Montreal trip. We've had two Montreal trips in about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there was the one she just did. What's today? Tuesday. So she just did Sunday.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah, it was
was it my
Sunday. It was
I
Sunday. He moved on
they all
Sunday.
Sunday.
blend together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I haven't. Has anybody listened to Natter to see like has he made any Chantal comments? Like I don't know. The guy could fall off the face of the planet and I could care less.
Yeah, I
Like
haven't
he's
been
just
watching his stuff.
yeah, he's just, you know,
If I want
boring.
to learn how to burn my food, then I'll go watch a Natty Daddy video. Other than that,
Right?
no. Like, I'm not there for dead ear and to watch a guy for 2 hours get positive superlatives
Or
because
like
he has a
this.
channel.
He I hate how he drinks. You know, he does that pinky thing. I'm just like,
The
putting his
pinky
finger
out.
down. Yeah, he always has his he sorry, I'm trying to my camera. I can't tell everything's backwards.
Yeah, that
But
pinky thing is all about spice conservation, by the way, if nobody
it's
knew
a
that.
what is it?
Spice conservation.
Like Spice is life? Spice is the universe?
Kind of like Spice's life. So what people used to do is, remember when spices used to be a huge thing worldwide? Like you'd go on, you would a company or rich bloodline, rich,
Mm-hmm. A
would
rich relative.
charter a boat to go and get spices. Like you'll get
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So the drinks would the water would condense on the outside of drinks. So if you held your cup or your glass, water would get on your pinky, but then you had to conserve spice in a way that you use your pinky and your thumb to pick it
Mm-hmm.
up. But if water's on there, you'd pick up too much.
Oh.
So there's
That
you
makes
always hold
sense.
your pinky out so that it
Yep.
wouldn't get wet because you had to
Mm-hmm.
conserve on the spices.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes complete sense, and
I see.
it's it's just a vestige of a time past, basically, where like it's not
Yeah,
necessary,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
but it's still a habit. My grandfather did it, my dad did it, and I do it. Okay, that makes sense.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I learned something new. That's awesome. Random fact. I'm ready for Trivial Pursuit.
Facts, no justice. Empires fell and rose due to spices. Yeah, like if
Yeah.
you had a business or a ship that would bring in the spices consistently, you would be
Mm.
rich
Oh yeah.
because so many
Oh.
ships were lost at sea a lot of times that it was very iffy to invest in trading because your ship could get lost, sunk, robbed. So much things
Mhm.
could happen. Mm-hmm.
Well, and then, back in the day, the salt miners were the ones that were just filthy rich.
Mm-hmm.
There's like those islands that are off like the north shore of Japan where they thought that they were just poor nobodies, and now they're digging into the archaeological records. Turns out they are the richest guys in Japan. They were salt farmers, you know. They were extremely wealthy back in the day. Back in the what was it? Not the Edo, 1100s. Anyway, sorry. Um, hmm, let's see. Pirates.
Minerals are such a
Mhm.
valuable resource. I'm actually kind of sad about the fact that they're like close to like next to nothing in terms of what people deem to be valuable at this point in time. It's kind of just another thing in your
Well,
cabinet or on your table, as
mhm.
opposed to it being
Well,
something that
and
provides so many resources.
oh, well, how about all the trace elements and stuff we're losing because people are taking their e-waste and they're just chucking them into landfills. You think about all the cadmium and nickel and all this stuff that goes into every
Yeah,
smartphone, and it's not being recycled. It's, they're catching on now, but just it's there. What is it? There's like more. There are more molecules of, or there are more parts per million or parts per thousand of pieces of plastic in San Diego Bay than there is of algae
yeah,
at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're
yeah.
really jacking stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
but that's
And I
that's a whole
read
nother
an
issue. That's
quick tidbit. I did
okay.
read an interesting article not too long ago about the traces of plastic that are being found not just in the air, but also in the water as well, also in the soil at this point too.
Everywhere.
And yeah,
Everywhere.
exactly. It's not something that, you can even avoid by going like far out into like a plane of land or anything like that that has little
No.
to human contact. It's there as well. And what I found to be very interesting about that article is how it was citing that a lot of younger people who are growing up now, whether they be like adolescents now or young adults at this point in time, a lot of them now are facing an increase in a lot of particular health issues due to the microparticles of plastic that are being found
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. Not
Yep.
just like different forms of cancers, but also adrenal issues and hormonal issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes even respiratory issues too. Like I know that I have a particular hormonal issue, and it's something that I'm finding a lot more people have now than any other time before. I even asked my mother if she had heard of as many people having the same hormonal condition as I do when she was growing up, and she told me no. So it's starting to really affect younger people in ways more than one, not just with a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
ecological anxiety, but also even their health too. And it's starting to really as years progress and as these people age too.
Oh yeah, it's a problem, and then to bring it back to Chantal, and we're all guilty as humans. We all consume, right? We all have our carbon footprint, but there are some
Right.
people that are at least aware and try, and then you have the other, like me. I'm a tree hugging, dirt eating druid through and through, man. We're talking, so I work really hard to minimize, I compost and just all kinds of stuff. Um, and like I'm currently like arguing with the manager of the place I live on, like, why can't I put a batch solar hot water heater in my little backyard? They're like, well, they're not allowed. I'm like, well, they're not allowed. So anyway, my point is so you got, people like that, but then on the other end of the spectrum you have somebody like Chantal, who is just raw hedonistic consumerism. And now I find it gross. I find it interesting. Like, how can you just consume and consume and consume? It's
Yeah,
crazy, you know?
it
And
is, honestly. Because I'm the same way. Even though I do live like in a very big city, um, I find myself needing to like escape from it quite often because I just don't find it to be something that really resonates with me. But it's just interesting to note how people like Chantal, who exhibit rampant consumerism, it's I find it interesting, at least for me to know, because it shows like not just like the evolution of human conditioning, but also it really shows how people have diversified ways of life in so many different ways that we are becoming very distant from not necessarily simplicity, but connection with the earth
mhm,
as is. That's why, when she said, "Oh, I'm going to Cuba," I'm like, okay, great. But also, just in terms of living somewhere that isn't a major city that has more than one point of convenience readily accessible for you, how are you going to really navigate when you're used to your lifestyle being fed to you with a silver spoon? You don't have any
exactly.
real recognition of what it means to live life outside of comfort, not just due to the fact that, you know, you grew up in a well-off family, but also because of the country that you grew up in and the privilege that was also associated with that. Not only that, but also because of the year that you were born as well. You were born in the 80s. This was when things were really starting to boom in terms of consumerism and, you know, in terms of technology too. So it's really interesting to note how she has all of these plans to visit all of these places, and yet she has no real way of connecting with the world outside of a computer screen. She doesn't find value in simple ways of connecting with herself, let alone others, let alone the readily accessible nature and earth that is in Canada. And Canada has beautiful landscapes. It has beautiful parks. It has gorgeous scenery in pretty much every single province. You know, not one province lacks in terms of landscapes. So, you know, she doesn't even take the initiative to go there and see what else lies for her just outside of her own province or neighborhood. Yet she wants to go to all these other places and see what they have to offer. But she's so reluctant to step outside of her immediate comfort zone because it's something that she was never pushed to do, because it was never something that was necessary for her survival, let alone her own comfort. So it's interesting to really like study her, but at the same time, it's just very funny at the same time because, you know, hearing her and then, you know, having family in so many different parts of the world where they don't have readily accessible resources, it's like, well, you're very tone deaf. Not only are you tone deaf, but you're extremely ignorant. How are you going to learn anything when you do get to these places, if you ever do get there? How are you going to really understand life, let alone appreciate it, when you can't
And
even do that for
what
yourself?
about like the fact too is like there's this ongoing debate about people that go to cheap countries, and it's like,
Ugh,
but it like, but you know what I mean? Like rich
yes.
first world country people go there and they're like, but it was so cheap. We had this guy drive us from point A to point B. It was
Mm-hmm.
90 miles and we only had to pay $5. But think about it. You know what I mean? It's like it's cheap because, you know, the they live, a lot of people live in poverty, and so $5 is a lot of money. But if you
Right.
think about the value of the service they provide, don't be a cheap, you know,
Yeah.
piece of crap and not you I'm losing words because this really irritates me, but it's like when first world people go to less fortunate countries and then they take advantage of the you know, economically on the locals. It's gross. And like
It is.
I question, like, yeah, it's you know, there's a difference between inexpensive and cheap. And like I dislike it when
Exactly.
people like, well, $3 is a lot of money, so that's a massive tip. And it's like, no, you know, it's like, I don't know. I hopefully it's making sense what I'm saying. I'm words, they're hard sometimes.
Yeah, we totally
No,
But
get
it
it.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah, yeah, I could just see Chantal go in there and having a cabana boy just snapping, you know, treating him like her own personal house elf. And she'll
Yeah.
probably be handing him $1 bills. You know what I mean? Because, you know, and just I can just see her being the gross, stereotypical, entitled North American
Yeah.
asshole. You know what I mean? And it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's cringy. It's very cringy. And
Yeah.
like so, it was said in chat, do you think Chantal could even find Cuba on a map?
No.
Yeah.
And,
I've
you know,
I've got to as close to Cuba as you can as an American. When I used to live next door to a DEA agent when I lived in the Florida Keys, and that was back when if you put the gas in the boat on the weekends you could go. And we went bombing straight towards Cuba and like did a big circle around it and then came back
right.
to the Keys. It was like, you know, as close as you could get without like going to jail as an American.
Yeah.
So, but I doubt Chantal could find it on a map. I don't think
No.
she could find the Dominican Republic. I don't think she could
Oh,
find
no.
Haiti. I don't think she could find Jamaica. I don't think she could find Cuba.
No,
But
she doesn't
but
even know
yeah.
that DR and Haiti are on the same
Oh yeah.
island.
Yeah.
She'd be like, I can't find Haiti though. Where is it?
It's like
Like,
it's the same island, you moron.
and Thank you for saying that because it's something that I actually can attest to personally because half of my family is from Colombia.
Oh.
And it's funny that you say driver because one of my family members is actually a driver in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from Bogota, which is the capital, one of the other cities that is now being gentrified is Medellin. A lot of
Yes.
people know it because that's where Pablo Escobar was, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of annoying how people only note that when it's a beautiful city, but I digress. So yeah, it's something that people go there all the time, not necessarily just for sex tourism, because that's also still very popular in Colombia. Like a lot of major cities, including Bogota, have their own red light district. But also people go there a lot because of the fact that the land is cheaper out there. To, fully disclose, in order for you to buy any property in Colombia, you do have to have a bank account there. But in order for you to have a bank account, you also need to have paperwork there as well to denote that you do have some form of citizenship present within the Colombian embassy. And not only that, but also there's another prerequisite too. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. You can't just buy land there. But this was
Yeah.
recently implemented because a lot of people, particularly people from the United States, would constantly go over to Colombia and buy out cheap houses and cheap plots of land. Some have used it now for business expenditures. Others have now used it for like summer homes or vacation homes.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it's very
what does it to
disheartening.
the what does it do to the locals, the economically disadvantaged people? It prices them out of getting
Exactly.
their own homes,
Yeah,
for somebody flies, to Bogota for 2 weeks a year and their house sits empty, but the people that are local, they can't even buy their own home. It's mm,
exactly. And, not only that, but just last year, Colombia was facing a lot of violence against its own citizens because of the protests during the pandemic. There
mm,
were citing issues primarily around quality of life. There was not any real way for them to gain a decent amount of money because the Colombian government, which at this current moment, Ivan, and generally he just doesn't really have any regard for any Colombian citizen that isn't white or filthy rich. So, with that being said, a lot of people were protesting because he wanted to raise like the price of food. He wanted to cut back on taxes, of course, for the rich, but then increase it for the working class. He continuously is killing activists, and not only that, but also is generally pushing out a lot of indigenous peoples as well. And they've been trying to mobilize in Colombia for like the past, 60 years, I want to say.
mm,
So I bring this up because I remember hearing Chantal saying that she wanted to go to Colombia, and I'm like, no, don't go there because these are people that are extremely hardworking for one, and two, there are so many issues that Colombia is currently facing. And this goes for, I think, just anyone really. It's like, if you're not going to go there and really support the locals, not just, whatever swanky hotel you decide to stay at, or really, talk to people and hear their perspective and see what they have to say about what it means to live there and what it means for them to grow up in this day and age as a Colombian person, you really don't have any business being there because this is
mm,
a land that has been fighting for its own autonomy for such a long time. And it's just very disheartening to see so many people take advantage of that, or people that just go there and just mindlessly numb themselves to anything that's happening that's very real and that directly impacts the large majority of people that make up the country's population. So I don't like it when people do that. That's even something that I do. Like we saw it all the time during the pandemic. People were like, "Oh, it's super cheap to go here, so I'm gonna go vacation there." Like even Puerto Rico, too, that's another example. I also have family in Puerto Rico, so it's the same thing. And it's ridiculous because it's like, okay, you can go there for a cheap flight, but you're not going to really help them. And tourism doesn't help them. Tourists,
not.
like most of the tourism is owned by the companies that are outside the country, or only
The
the government
the
direct cuts
the
from that.
big corporations that Pete's hates. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're huge
Exactly.
conglomerate. She could stay in that exact same hotel in Florida, in California, in Cuba. It doesn't matter because it's, she's not going to Cuba. She's going to a resort that she could probably get the same quality resort somewhere warm. Like I said, she wouldn't even have to leave the you should just have to go to the United States. It's, yeah. So, yeah, Chantal is, and it just, yeah, that just sucks, Luna. It really does. It's just such a terrible, terrible thing. It really is. And then you get just, and, can you imagine being, economically disadvantaged and seeing like somebody like Chantal rolling in? Like, how much do you have to eat that you can manage to be 300 pounds over your ideal body weight? Like,
Yeah.
because what is it, 3,500 calories for every pound to put on a pound? You guys go ahead, talk amongst yourself. I'm going to do some math. 3,500 pounds. Let's see.
Could
She's
be,
at
yeah, 'cause
least,
she's not so short.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's 5'1". She could weigh 100 pounds easily. My biological mother is 5 feet tall. She's 98 pounds. My older sister is 4'11". So I have a pretty good idea of what weight you should be for being short. So let's see.
Hmm. While you do
Now, how
that,
do I,
I
yeah.
guess we're gonna be throttling down. So there's a lot to this. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see if she'll ever go back on Twitch. I don't think she'll ever go back on Patreon. I
Which is
think that's practically dead now. OnlyFans, I haven't seen her on there in a while. Let me check when's the last time she posted. Yeah, there's just since she got YouTube back and she's monetized, she's gonna go full throttle on YouTube, and that's it.
Hmm. Yeah. OnlyFans is done. I hope everybody and their dog goes to get their money back. So for 300 pounds overweight at 3,500 calories per pound, that is 1,050,000 calories extra that she consumed to put on that much weight. So let's say somebody her size, a woman her size, shouldn't eat more than 1,800 normally. So holy cow. So basically, yeah, it's about 2 years of eating twice solid, like daily eating twice the amount of food you should eat. So it's just
yikes.
putting it into perspective that Chantal is literally consuming enough calories just to maintain the weight that she is, that could realistically feed a family of 4. Like,
Yikes.
hands
Yeah.
down, hands down. And probably in more economically disadvantaged countries, probably 6 people easy could make a meal out of the calories she consumes just to maintain the weight that she's at this point. And like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, so if
Right.
there's somebody that's smarter than me, don't fight me. I'm just ballparking here. But
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of countries don't really see people for signs that are bigger, but you have to also look at like what their native cuisine is. Like a lot of these countries, especially with people that live below the poverty line, for the most part, like in Colombia, for example, if you're poor, you eat rice and beans every single day because it's easy to
Arroz y
make. There's not much
habichuela.
ingredients. Exactly, and it's delicious.
Hmm.
Not only that, like
It is.
that's a very common breakfast in Colombia is rice and beans and eggs. So
Oh
if
yeah.
people do have health issues because of them having to eat food that have more carbs because it's more accessible.
Hmm. Yeah, I used to live down in on the border of Guatemala, down there in the Yucatan Peninsula, up in the Santiago Tuxtla Mountains, and a lot of them still even spoke Mayan, and they were like truly indigenous. And the
Oh
great
wow.
food. Yeah, it was great, but they always wanted to come up and touch me because I'm like 5'11", so I'm very tall for a woman, and I have really light blue eyes, and they were just looking at like, what is this, because I was there doing archaeology. If you guys want, Google, it's called the Olmecs. I was down in Tres Zapotes. It's where, those huge carved basalt heads you see pictures of in the
Yeah.
archaeology books. those huge carved basalt heads down in Mesoamerica. Yeah, I was down there excavating Tres Zapotes, the very first place in 1848 that they found Stele A and the first head and all that stuff. So yeah. Anyway,
That's
it was really
amazing.
cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And the indigenous people, oh my God, the things I saw, because we were out like in the rainforest, and like they thought I was odd, because I'm tall, I'm a gringo, and all this stuff. And they mixed their Spanish with Mayan, and so my Spanish did me no good whatsoever. But I can only imagine. But a lot of them, they're so hardworking, but hand to mouth. So I can only imagine what they would think seeing somebody like Chantal roll in. I mean, it would be like,
Oh no.
you know what I mean? I don't think I
Yeah.
saw not one overweight person like the whole time I was there, and I was there for a hot minute. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's
All right.
me going
Well,
off the rails. Sorry.
no worries, Greg Gribble. Appreciate you here. We're gonna wrap this up. So, any closing thoughts, and then we're gonna end this.
Um, I'll be surprised if Chantal manages to get up to her alarm, because you know how she greens out so hard that I can think of the alarm going off that she needs to get up to get to that car to get to that plane, because that plane isn't going to wait for her. And the only other thing I'm going to say, she's like, well, I might have to get 2 seats. No, Chantal, if you're watching this, you need to get 2 seats, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy that paid for a seat and having you rolling over into my seat. So
Yeah.
do the human race a favor. Be a decent human being, since you're rolling in the dough, and get that second seat, man. Don't do that to somebody else. It's rude. It really is. So that's my takeaway. Get a second seat, please.
Yeah. I
Be
don't want
kind to other
her.
human beings.
Yeah, I don't want her rolls rubbing off on me. She got all sorts of like cat nibble and all this other shit in there. No, no, no.
Hair.
I need personal space. But
Yeah.
no, aside from that, yeah, in terms of like her other streaming sites, like RIP Twitch, that's gone. Aside from that, her OnlyFans, that's another great site in itself. Patreon, I feel like she'll reserve that for when she wants to complain about something or when she wants to vent without being judged, or basically like break character hardcore and like wants to smoke on camera or whatever. I feel like that's what she'll keep that for in particular. But aside from that, in terms of her trip over there, it's not going to happen. Or if it does happen, it's going to suck on her end and she's going to want to cut it short. Or it's just going to be an absolute shit show. And
Yeah.
like you said, we at the very least,
I
we
think if
get
she
a
gets
bug.
there, it'll be out of just sheer spite. I'll show you, because I'm going. You know what I mean? And so I'm all for it. I hope she goes. I hope she goes. I pray, like I said, to 8 pound, 5 ounce baby Jesus, that like let there be Wi-Fi, because I want to see this. I really want to see this, because I think Chantal's days are numbered, and I just want to enjoy my entertainment while it's still here. So sue me.
Agreed.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Greg Gribble, Luna Sorte, and myself were on panel tonight. We'll see everybody another time. Smash that like button and remember the GoFundMe. I've spoke about this a few times. I'm gonna put the link up once again. So if you can share and or donate, that would be great. No pressure though. Deb, you're coming in. Please watch the replay if you so do choose. And thank you, everybody. I will see everybody another time. All right, take care. Have a good one, and bye bye.